about is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out the car. We got to talk about this Karmelo Anthony case again, because it seems that the media is trying to make him out to be the new George Floyd, the new core celeb. You know, they want to create such a racial divide and so much racial tension that this case, I mean, if you remove the racial component, you would even see the media covering it the way they're covering it, because you have both aisles vehemently going after each other about two teams. So I want you to hear what Melanie King says, and we're going to talk about it. And then I want to show you what somebody else is saying, because if you're paying attention, they're politicizing this case to such a degree that you can see it's hostile, it's aggressive. Good morning, Tort. You know, it's like they want revenge. You got people saying things like, this is payback for Kyle Rittenhouse, and this is payback for the mass shooting in Buffalo. You got people saying all kinds of crazy things as if they don't realize a teen lost his life. I want y'all to listen to Melanie King. Listen to what Melanie King says. This for fair usage of the 1976 Copyright Act for education and commentary. Check out Melanie King.
So I've got an insane update for you guys about Carmelo Anthony, and it is just so ridiculous. I don't even know what to say anymore. I want to start you off by telling you a little bit about the guy who is leading this press conference. I just
That's Melanie King, if y'all don't know who she is.
I don't even understand what their whole end point is or why they would put this man out there to represent them. But, well, it makes sense with all the grifting that's going on.
Good morning, people. Y'all come in the building. Hit the like button for me.
Who murdered Austin Metcalf in cold blood. That is my take as far as the evidence I've seen so far.
Now, she's saying that he murdered him in cold blood. That's not what the evidence says. You know what I mean? It's manslaughter at best. But you have a lot of black people, they picking a side against Carmelo Anthony as well, because it almost feels like they think they're obligated, you know, because she's saying this, that he's guilty of first-degree murder. How does she know that? He hasn't been to court. He's still innocent until he's proven guilty, right?
Let's listen to something else comes out, then I'll be fair and amend it. But right now, it's looking like cold-blooded murder. But the guy who's leading the press conference, listen to this. His name is Dominique Alexander, and he's a felon who beat a baby to the point of brain injury and is now acting as an advocate for Carmelo Anthony's family. Like, what? I'm going to get more into that post, but I just want to start you off with who is actually talking. Now, before I show you everything about the press conference, one thing that everyone is talking about is that this is Austin Metcalf's father. Now, he went to the press conference, and this was what it says. Austin Metcalf's father is attending the press conference for Carmelo Anthony and was asked to leave. And
what do y'all think about that? That Metcalf's father went to the press conference and they wanted him to leave. Do y'all think he had a right to be there? To see what they were saying about his son? You know, because they slandering both families. They slandering both families. So I just don't understand why they would be so upset that he came to the press conference. Would you go to the press conference? If it was your child, wouldn't you want to see or participate in what's going on? But they asked him to leave. Let's listen to some more.
And the Dallas PD police department was called on him. So he's not allowed to be at this press conference. Is it in a private space? Is he like not allowed? I'm assuming they're doing it somewhere public. And he has every right to be at the press conference of his son's, his murdered son's accused killer. Like, this is the fact that they want to throw him out as though this family has done something wrong or egregious is just grotesque. But update to the dad, it says Jeff Metcalf, Austin's father, is refusing to leave the press conference for Karmelo Anthony, and that the felon and advocate Dominique Alexander with Next Generation Action Network, doesn't this sound like Al Sharpton's grifting network? It's always an action network. They're going to do some action. Sure, buddy. Has stated that he will not start the press conference unless the father of Austin Metcalf leaves. We don't give a damn. Why are you even holding this press conference? We don't need to hear more from Carmelo Anthony. I will never get over his parents naming him after Carmelo Anthony. I know the real Carmelo Anthony is pissed. But it says, according to internal sources, his presence is not a violation of a court order. He has every right to be there.
Okay, right, so okay.
Let's begin.
Thanks for your guys' support.
And it's pretty egregious, so hold on to your hats.
The father being at this press conference. These are my words. Don't quote anybody. Is a disrespect to the dignity of his son. Next Generation Action Network from the beginning has respected the loss of life. No matter our...
Big boss, is you trolling me in there? What's wrong with this guy? Good morning, Tijuana Border Jumper.
Of it. We have kept our opinion close. We have not attacked. We have not shared the information that was shared with us about Austin Metcalf, because we respect the dignity of life.
Introducing the Big B Coffee Modular Drive-Thru, produced by B Cubed Manufacturing. The product.
Are you serious? He starts this press conference by railing against the father that's there for his son who died, and it's disrespectful for him to be there. And now he's claiming they're not releasing information about the victim, the dead victim, out of respect. How is this disrespectful for the father to be there? And that you respect the loss of life? Are you kidding? Guys, this is just outrageous. This is outrageous. Ooh, okay, so just to give you more context, it says Dominique Alexander opens by chastising the father of Austin Metcalf for attending the public press conference, and he was forced to leave. Okay, so it looks like he eventually was forced to leave, like it was just probably too much going on. And he, of course, we heard him open up with that statement. It says it's a
Well, we got trolls this morning. Mass Jenkins. That's a weird comment. That's a real weird comment. I guess everybody needs their trolls, huh? Let's listen to some more of the story.
Dignity of his son, telling him that he's disrespecting his own dead son by being at his killer's grifting press conference. Okay. And that from the beginning that they respect the loss of life. This statement comes after Dominique Alexander has called for justice for Carmelo and started a merch t-shirt website for fundraising. Yes, guys. Yes, there is now a merch site.
What do y'all think about that? They said they got the GoFundMe. They made almost $1 million with the GoFundMe. Now they got merch. They are merchandising this situation. We already know that the race baiters is race baiting and they got the race hustle going on, but they are actually creating merchandise. You know, you got some people, they saying that this young guy was a hero. Was a hero. And it behooves me that they keep forgetting that these are teenagers. They're teenagers. These are kids. But I guess reflection of society. It's a recent of the racial hostility and animus in this country. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people do feel like he got payback. Y'all remember when they had the guy that hit the white people with the chair in Alabama, the Alabama brawl, they called it? It's weird to see people take satisfaction at other people's demise. You know what I mean? It's like they relish in it. You know, the negativity is, it doesn't even register with them that they're being negative because they think they're doing the right thing. Let's listen to some more.
Where you can buy merch that, and I guess it goes into the pockets of his parents or his legal defense fund.
But Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Karmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation. That just shows me that Frisco ISD is trying to push off the blame. And what I have not heard the media say, as many media outlets have asked us what went on, I'm trying to find how many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why didn't you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude, you couldn't have a track meet in rain or thunderstorm or clouds. Y'all are the media.
It took place maybe a couple of weeks ago. Somebody asked, when did it take place? I want y'all to listen to Greg Foreman. And they talking about the same story on the black conservative perspective.
I've lost a couple by accident, and a couple
We're gonna see.
need to be pulled. And now the rest of them right now.
The screen now, what you are looking at is video of Jeff Metcalf being escorted out of the co-working space where the Next Gen Action Network's offices by Dallas Police. You see that there. Jeff Metcalf, the gentleman who was wearing the sunglasses and the blue shirt, who's being escorted out, is the father of Austin Metcalf, who was the teenager who was stabbed and killed in traffic 2 weeks ago. He is being asked to leave, escorted out of a press conference that is being held where the parents of the child who is accused of killing Metcalf's child are expected to.
The father being at this press conference.
That's the guy that was speaking.
Don't quote anybody. Is a disrespect to the dignity of his son. Next Generation Action Network from the beginning has respected the loss of life.
Wait a minute. What they saying in the chat? Dear sir, respectfully, are you for sale? Bob Sama. Where did Charles come from today? I don't never get this many trolls. I must be doing something right, huh?
Opinion of it. We have kept our opinion close. We have not attacked. We have not shared the information that was shared with us about Austin Metcalf, because we respect the dignity of life, as that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who was not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting non-stop about this case.
All right, guys, so we got to follow up on the viral story involving Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. Now, everybody should be familiar with the...
That's Greg Foreman doing the narrating. But I'm trying to ask myself, what was so wrong with him going to the thing, to the meeting. What was so wrong with that? And then you could tell that they got some dirt on the other young man because they saying, you know, that they didn't expose it. What's up, King Hazy? Peace up. We doing it in the car this morning. All y'all at work, y'all doing good on this Good Friday? We don't know how good this Friday is, though. Not yet, huh?
Story, unless you are living under a rock, watching CNN or MSNBC. In that case, you probably aren't watching my channel, and I'm not going to waste time explaining what happened. Everybody should understand what happened. We're at this point is that for me personally, I am waiting for more evidence, okay, to see if this possibly could be self-defense, okay? My mind is open. However, at this point, I personally believe that this is a very, very, very weak self-defense case for Karmelo Anthony. I think it is likely that he murdered Austin Metcalf in a moment of anger, okay? And I have good reason to believe Karmelo Anthony.
Now, Greg Foreman say the same thing, that he murdered him. These people know, or they have to know, basic law is not murder. They trying to say that this young man premeditated it. He went there because that's what will make it murder. You know what I mean? But I'm showing you that it's so polarized that you have a large amount of black people who feel obligated to go off the deep end about punishing Karmelo Anthony. Then you got some people on the other side saying he's a hero, and I don't understand that. It's like they keep forgetting that these were children, these were young people. You know what I mean? Brains not even fully developed. But they got it so publicized and so sensationalized that it's strange. You know what I mean? They want it up there, like I said, like he the next George Floyd or like this an OJ case for some. But in all actuality, it's still just two kids. He said, okay, murder does not need to be premeditated. That's why in America you have first, second, and third. You're right. You're right on that. You're right on that. But I was saying this as to the point where it sounds like manslaughter. You're right that it could be a second-degree murder or something like that. But manslaughter is more in the heat of passion. And it sounds like whatever happened, they got emotionally charged and it spun from there. That's why I took the opinion that saying it was murder was excessive. You follow what I'm saying? Now, the strangest part about it is they were mad that the young man got a bond. You know what I mean? And he was entitled to a bond. But they made a thing about that because it was $1 million, which was excessive for a teenager. So you got both sides. You got both sides wanting blood. And you got the media feeding off of it. It's a media frenzy. That's all you seeing in the timelines. So I'm going to finish listening to some more of what Greg Foreman has to say. We heard Melanie King. She feels kind of the way he feels, but let's check it out.
History of not being able to control his anger, and I think that's essentially what happened. Okay, I do not think that Karmelo Anthony was jumped. There's no evidence that he was jumped. This is the false story that is being spread on social media by race hustlers, relying on some random individual that came out as a witness, even though his testimony, what he stated, does not match police reports at all, okay? And we're getting some more evidence here that Carmelo Anthony likely, again, was not acting in self-defense, okay? And the reason why I say that is because the family and his representation, his woke representation, I don't want to call them legal representation, but this guy, Dominique Alexander, seems to be acting as the family's mouthpiece. But they're coming out here and they are announcing that the school district is expelling Carmelo Anthony. Okay, and I want to talk about that because I think that this is a bad sign for Carmelo Anthony when you talk about this being self-defense. But first, we got to talk about what happened before the press conference, because Austin Metcalf's father was kicked out of the press conference by the activist, right? As you guys saw at the beginning of the video, Dominique Alexander, who has a long criminal history, right, and doesn't really seem to be that educated, he says that it was disrespectful for Jeff.
Hey, so they saying the lawyer has a long criminal history. It's like they get the dirt on everybody. The lawyer has a long criminal history. They kicked the father out. They doing way too much.
Metcalf to show up to the press conference, and then they asked Jeff Metcalf to leave. Now, the irony here, which is something that actual justice warrior Sean, I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with him, he pointed out on X. I have to give him credit for this because I think that this post that he put was genius. He says,
somebody said about the twins. We haven't heard any more about the twins and what happened there. It seems like this story has overshadowed that already. But we forget kind of quickly. You know what I mean? Because it's one story after the next, one tragedy after the next. Hit that like button for me when you come in.
How Austin Metcalf's father was asked to leave the press conference but managed not to stab anyone in heart. Yeah, I think that this post is genius because it points out the absurdity of some of the arguments on behalf of Carmelo Anthony, considering how these people are essentially arguing that Carmelo Anthony had a right to be in a place that he was told to leave, that he wasn't wanted, he was told to leave, and had Carmelo Anthony did what Jeff Metcalf just did, which is to leave when asked to leave, then this situation would not have happened. Okay, but again, just pay attention to how.
I see Connie Harrison. And Connie, who shook the baby? The lawyer or Metcalf's father? Who did they say shook the baby? Because they were saying that the father was an abuser and did, and did all kind of things. But I guess at this point, Marlon said the dude you're playing is a clown. You don't like George Foreman? Greg Foreman? Oh, you say the spokesperson for the family. Greg has his conservative opinion. You know what I mean? I believe everybody should be able to express their opinion. You know what I mean? That's what, these formats are for. That's just like a lot of people. They can't stand Candace Owens. You know what I mean? Because she's so opinionated. Oh, see, Connie Harris said Greg Foreman is dope. So I guess it's like everything else. It all depends on who you like. Okay, the Action Network spokesperson. In the chat's going ham.
They are treating Jeff Metcalf, even though Jeff Metcalf was very forgiving of Carmelo Anthony from the beginning. With that being said, I think that the grieving father showing up really shows you how much he is going through right now, especially considering all of the falsehoods that are being spread on social media about his sons, okay, claiming that they're bullies, claiming that they jumped Carmelo Anthony, in which, again, we have zero evidence that happened, at least as of yet, okay? We don't have that evidence yet. I'm waiting for it, right? I'm waiting for Raekwon's testimony to be corroborated, okay, by somebody legitimate. We'll see, okay? But my point is that Jeff Metcalf, I think the reason why he showed up, to be honest with you, is, again, because he's mourning heavily. And I remember at the beginning of all of this, when he was basically saying that he had already forgave Carmelo Anthony, right? And I think he kind of was extending an olive branch to the family, right? He was approaching it from a Christian perspective. And I think that him seeing that they're not really taking responsibility for this probably made him upset. That on top of the response from the woke revolutionaries, the race hustlers, the pro-blacks, probably has them extremely, extremely, extremely upset, okay? Their homes has been swatted, okay? As the media tries to make it seem like, oh, well, Carmelo Anthony family, they're the victims. But again, they're not talking about what the actual victim's family is currently going through because of these woke activists. Take a look.
I don't know. There have been attacks on the victim's family, and the victim, Austin Metcalf's mother's home, was swatted. What happened?
I told you it's getting out of hand.
Nancy, it's almost like a media blackout when it comes to the victim's family. At 8 o'clock at night, SWAT, they get a 911 phone call giving the address of Austin Metcalf's mother and saying somebody has been shot in the mouth. And this person stays on the phone for an extended period of time until SWAT can get out to the residence. They surround it. They build up the whole blue shield around the home. They're trying to get in touch with Austin's mother, Megan, and they can't get her on the phone. Well, her phone isn't working right now. SWAT didn't know if she had been killed. They didn't know if there were people inside the house. They sent a drone inside this house that has been swatted, Nancy, to go through every little thing. And, of course, they didn't find anybody in there, and they were able to clear the home. This is how this family is mourning, going through police.
I want to address somebody just said in the comments. Now, you know, we all can say we were taught, don't put your hands on nobody and don't let nobody put your hands on you. But don't you think it's a bit drastic for teens to take their life because somebody touched them or put their hand on them? I'm just asking, because it's a lot of facets to this, especially when you see the publicity that it's getting. If you see how many people are adding their 2 cents in or trying to make a buck. They told you these people, they even got merchandise, shirts. But on the other end, these people here grieving.
Coming in thinking they're being held against their will and being trashed.
Yeah, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this wild press conference.
For the last week and a half, the Next Generation Action Network has engaged in communications with Frisco ISD to ensure that Karmelo Anthony's due process is not violated. We know that in the state of Texas, there are things that are discretionary things and decisions by the leadership of Frisco ISD, right? There are clear guidance in the state and education code regarding expulsion of a student. We have asked several times. We didn't just rush. We have had these conversations over the last several days. And we have stated that it is just outright wrong to get involved in this. Carmelo Anthony doesn't have to walk.
I looked at a statement that said, I never thought I'd unsubscribe to this channel, but I'm done. I'm out. Bye. What does that mean? When you subscribe to this channel, didn't I have my own opinions? I'm supposed to stop having opinions or showing you different sides of the spectrum? You know, I got people, it's people in these comments that's mad because they don't like Greg Foreman. If you unsubscribing, you don't even have to announce that. You don't have to announce it. You could just exit stage left. But in the meantime, we're going to pay attention to what's being said. Now listen.
Doesn't have to involve in any senior activities. But Carmelo Anthony is a 3.7 GPA student.
You know, I find it to be fascinating how they keep changing this whole, like, 3.7, 4.0 GPA student thing, right? I thought that he was a straight A student. last time I checked, 3.7 is not straight A's. Also, on top of that, considering how we don't know whether or not this is weighted or unweighted, I think that actually really matters because from what I remember in high school, an unweighted 3.7 GPA is good, right? That's actually impressive, okay? That means that you are like an A- student, okay? But a 3.7 GPA weighted is not good because if you're taking honors classes and AB classes, I mean, that means that you could very well be.
I'm looking at the chats and like, you know, people is even emotionally charged in the chat about the story. You got Boston J, he said he's nothing more than a murderous thug who had a knife in the backpack. A murderous thug? Well, they say he don't have any criminal record or history of murdering anybody. So how is he a murderous thug? What's going on, Scotland? Got Scotland in the house. I'm just wondering how people can come to these conclusions and they don't even know the intricate details of the case. But they are so emotionally charged, emotionally invested. I mean, we know that there's a lot of people who are emotionally invested in Karmelo Anthony getting the maximum amount of time in jail. Okay, Connie said his classmates said Carmelo is known for fighting a lot. The King 948 said, I'm skipping your comments. It's hard to catch them. It's a lot of them. Yeah, hit the thumbs up and share. But anyway, let's finish listening to what they said at the meeting, at the press conference.
A C or B student, right? I mean, I don't really know because I didn't take AP classes because in 11th grade, I went straight to university or college. So, you know, me personally, this whole 3.7 thing, 4.0, I just find it to be interesting how they keep changing it up, right? One day it's 4.0 straight A's. Now all of a sudden it's 3.7, right? As if it really means anything, okay? I don't think it means anything at all. And I don't understand why they keep bringing this up if it matters. Actually, I do know why they keep bringing it up because when you don't have a strong claim of self-defense, you have to rely on the whole, well, he was a good kid thing, right? You have to rely on character because you don't have an actual strong claim of self-defense, right? So now at this point, what they're relying on is people feeling as if, well, Carmelo's a good kid and he made a mistake and therefore you should be lenient on him because, again, they're not really making any real arguments, right? They're not really saying anything at all about what happened. And again, all of this really just leads me to believe that they just do not have a strong case, and they know they don't have a strong case. And at this point, they're just trying to say,
What's up, Ja Rules? Oh, you said, what's up with the new format? I got to get another studio. In the meantime, you got to keep blogging or vlogging, you know? You got to keep the media going. We got to keep the chat going. So we ain't going to let, you know, temporary change affect the flow of the show. He said car studio works.
Salvage whatever they can.
And if he doesn't even go to class for the remainder of the year, he would graduate. Okay? We've asked that Frisco do not make a decision in this situation. But Frisco ISD has notified of their intent to expel Karmelo Anthony from school 1 month before his high school graduation. That just...
Now I'm going to ask this question. Do you think he should be expelled? Because I'm seeing, you know, you got mixed reviews on the story in the comment because people say, oh, if somebody put their hands on you, got to go to extremes of taking their life. But do y'all think he should even be expelled from school? Should he be suspended? What you think about that? or they say he should still be in jail. Hey, that's an opinion.
Shows me that Frisco ISD is trying to push off the blame. And what I have not heard the media say, as many media outlets have asked us what went on, I'm trying to find how many of y'all have asked the superintendent or one single board of trustee, why didn't you cancel or postpone? With weather in that magnitude, you couldn't have a track meet in rain or thunderstorm or clouds.
No, he didn't. He blaming on having the track meet in the rain. Is that what he doing? So now he's blaming the school system for actually holding the event. So that's a switch, because you got self-defense, or it's the school system for it. You got to choose one. You got to choose a struggle.
Y'all are the media. Ask your journalists, your weather journalists, how the weather was that day and that time. Y'all do that research.
Wow. Are you guys hearing what this dude is saying? This dude is literally blaming the weather, right? It's almost as if he's blaming the weather for why this happened, right? He's trying to put blame on the school for not canceling the track meet instead of actually talking about what happened. And again, that's why I keep trying to tell you guys, like, they just don't have a strong case. And the reason why I'm saying this, I'm not saying this because I'm biased or because I'm rooting against Carmelo Anthony because he's black, which, again, that's what some people really believe, that my opinion is based off skin color and race. It's like, no, my opinion is not based off skin color and race. My opinion in this situation is 100% based off the facts and the evidence. And the more this dude talks, the more I'm starting to think that, again, it's just not looking really good for Carmelo Anthony. And the fact that this school has decided to expel Carmelo means that they have done their investigation, that they have watched whatever footage is out there. And there's a good chance that the school district has footage. Okay, it was a track meet. So, you know, at these school events, they have like the school cameras and stuff like that. There's a good chance that they have investigated this, they have talked to witnesses, and they've decided that they need to expel Carmelo Anthony. And if that is the case, the narrative that Carmelo Anthony was...
I'm asking you guys, though, what do you think? Do you think he should be expelled from school? Now, I could see from the comments, some people say he was justified in what he did in his self-defense. Other people saying he's a murderous thug. But I'm asking a simple question. Should he even be expelled from school? Think about it.
Or that he was acting in self-defense becomes even more improbable. And the reason why I say that is for a few reasons, okay? One of the reasons why I say it is because the school could be just following along when it comes to a policy, which is that, hey, a student is charged and they have to be expelled because they're potentially a violent threat. So I 100% understand that. However, if this...
Come on, y'all. It's 100 people in the chat. Hit the like button. It's free. It don't cost you nothing.
School believe that Carmelo Anthony was actually acting in self-defense or that he was jumped, okay, then I don't think they would have went to this extreme. I think they would have said, well, likely in court, he's going to be found to be innocent, right? Not guilty, okay? So we might want to hold off, right? Or we might want to have a lesser punishment because he brought the knife to the track meet, right? Which in and of itself, again, depending on, again, the nature of the weapon and the rules and stuff like that, again, he probably should be punished for that, but I don't think expulsion would have been appropriate if they really believed that he acted in self-defense. You know, in this situation, if the school...
Hey, yo, Ogie Bo, what is my opinion on the subject? You say my opinion makes you want to vomit. Tell me what my opinion is. Let me know if you following me. if you know my opinion. Because my opinion is that they teens. And it's being overly racialized. Because like I said, in Detroit, Chicago, New York, California, Atlanta, young men lose their lives every day, destroying lives every day. And there's no outrage. There's no marches, no protests, none of that. So I want people to pay attention to that. How come there's no outrage when it happens daily? That's all I want to know. In most of these urban cities, they war zone. People got PTSD from hearing gunshots and seeing these type of things happen. So what I keep trying to get people to see is the racialization of it. You know what I mean? The hate on both sides. So what do you think about that? Because that's my opinion. My opinion is this thing has been racialized to the maximum. Everybody is getting their 5 minutes of fame at these press conferences, but they fail to realize that 2 teens have ruined their lives up to this. Well, one lost his life, and the other one has potentially ruined it. But I guess, you know, the racial component is more interesting, to say the least.
Actually believe that Carmelo Anthony acted in self-defense. In my opinion, I think they would have did a lesser punishment. I think they would have maybe did what this guy is suggesting, which is to not let him walk. He got to do homeschool, online, whatever, graduate. And they probably would have just said, you know what, it's not even worth expelling him because he's about to graduate anyways, right? If it was actual self-defense, I don't see them taking this step. I think them taking this step is a bad sign, okay, when you talk about self-defense, because had he really acted in self-defense, I just don't see them really trying to chime in on this right now, considering how racially charged this situation is, right? So I just don't see with all this controversy, the school making this.
What you say? Oh, Karen said some of the chat say they're not seeing the like button. Well, I don't understand that one. I don't. YouTube taking their shadow ban to another level, huh?
Unless they were sure that Carmelo Anthony was not acting in self-defense, that Carmelo Anthony was in the wrong, okay? Also on top of that, I'm going to look out to see if there's news about whether or not the school district is going to punish or discipline Hunter Metcalf, who is Austin Metcalf's brother. And the reason why I want to pay attention to that is because if they punish Hunter Metcalf, then that suggests that Hunter Metcalf was also involved, and that the story that the race hustlers are sticking to support the self-defense claim of Carmelo Anthony has some elements of truth to it, in the sense that Hunter Metcalf was involved.
Okay, you have a duty. She said I have a duty. I'm wondering, can I go back to that chat? She said I got some type of duty.
Again, was he actually
to take a racial
Carmelo,
side?
Which is what the race hustlers say. Again, we don't know. This is why we need to see the video. But I'm just saying, if it turns out that Hunter Metcalf is also facing some type of discipline, which he should, again, if he was jumping Carmelo Anthony, right, with his brother, which is what race hustlers say, then yeah, you would expect Hunter Metcalf to face some discipline as well too. But if he doesn't face any discipline and it's only Carmelo Anthony, then again, that to me is a really, really, really bad sign for Carmelo Anthony, because again, if their story is true, that Carmelo Anthony acted in self-defense because the Metcalf brothers were jumping him, then you would expect Hunter Metcalf to face some type of disciplinary action. The fact that he hasn't, at least as of right now, okay, and he could, I don't know, it could change, again, just doesn't look good for Carmelo Anthony. Now, again, if that changes, if he does face disciplinary action.
Somebody say the mother's talking right now? Y'all tired of Greg Foreman, huh? Let me see. I'm gonna see if she's talking as we speak, huh? Okay.
Find Junior chicken sandwiches on the fun
I found her.
Live free, eat Sonic. Live free?
Good afternoon. My name is Kayla Hayes. I am the mother of Karmelo Anthony. 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband works hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Carmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what might happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Sit, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds.
Is y'all looking at the comments? I'm telling you, the whole case is so racially charged, and people have chosen their respective corners to such a degree, it's unreal. It's unreal. I'm looking at the comments, and it's hostile to say the least.
Tons once a request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution. We believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, when I speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day, there's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our
Organics gets to the root of whole body health with pure.
Well, we're going to end it. We're going to end this story on that note. We done had the mother crying. They done kicked the other boy's father out the press conference. Media is fanning the flames, to say the least. But I just don't understand why people don't see the bigger problem. This is a violent society. And until we address that, it's going to always be something like this. It keeps happening. You know, the game is not changing, just the players. You know, it'll be somebody else next month or next year. And people will be doing the same thing, picking sides. Well, that's all I got for you this Good Friday morning, because this story seems like it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I hope you guys enjoy your Easter weekend if you celebrate Easter. And it's Detroit's HPTV, signing to you out of Detroit. As always, salute to all patriots and keep your head on the swivel. Peace.